Hi. I would really like to do like a villain twirling chair entrance sort of thing, but I'm in a temporary setup right now and I just don't have the space for it. So, uh let's just jump right into it. I think that's the only way we can do this. So, today, to sort of ease our way back into making these videos, uh, I wanted to just talk about my 5 favorite NBA City Edition jerseys of this year. They were released last week, and there are some jerseys every year in every sport. There are some jerseys that make me want to like start a personal collection. There's always a few. Um, the Premier League season started somewhat recently, and there's always some in there. Um, Recently I was looking at a couple hockey leagues, and there's some jerseys that really make me want to just like have a collection of jerseys that I personally really, really like. And these 5 jerseys are jerseys that are doing that to me right now. So please, for the sake of my wallet, someone talk me out of it in the comments. But also let me know in the comments what your favorite NBA City Edition jersey is this year. And without further ado, further stalling, I guess, we'll get into it. And these are just in alphabetical order. I'm not willing to pick a favorite child here. So the first one, alphabetically, that I really like is the Charlotte Hornets. Now, when these jerseys came out, I remember seeing them on the NBA website in alphabetical order. So, like, I saw Atlanta, and I had strong opinions on the Atlanta jersey. And what would be next? Like Boston. There's another B. I'm blanking. But those were alright, but like I wasn't super excited. And then I saw the Charlotte jersey, and then I got really excited for the City Edition jerseys. So this jersey was inspired by Charlotte's history as the home of the U.S. branch mint and the Carolina Gold Rush of the early 1800s. So, okay, the Gold Rush is one thing, but the U.S. branch mint, not necessarily something that you would like associate with celebrating a city in sports. But in this case, I'm sorry if you hear a cat meowing. My cat nephew is staring at me, and he's got some opinions too. So, so yeah, the mint in relation to the team colors, though, totally makes sense. So the gold, first of all, super subtle, not too much. I'm looking at you, Toronto Raptors. It's just a really nice detail. And then the mint with the Charlotte sort of teal color, I'm a huge fan of. I think a lot of people were talking about sort of it clashing, but in certain sports uniforms, I actually like clashing colors. Like one jersey that or shirt that always comes to mind is a Liverpool. I think it would have been the 2021 shirt. If not, it's a year later. If it's not 2021, it's 21-22, where they had the red jersey with the sort of like neon-y, orangey collar and sleeves, just the sleeve lining, and then sort of horizontal. No, they were diagonal stripes, really thin, sort of pinstripe. That to this day is like one of my favorite shirts of all time. And so I really like that sort of clashing color concept. And it's the same with this. I think I'm looking down at a picture of it right now, and I think it works really, really nicely with the existing sort of color scheme of the Hornets. And another thing about the mint side panels is that they have a design that's meant to resemble the sort of the Hornet's hive, like the exterior. And I'm not necessarily a fan of like really on the nose sort of patterns, like the Celtics shirt that has sort of the wood paneling. I actually don't mind the Celtics shirt because I like that it's like a thinner stripe and it kind of goes on an angle. But it's on the nose. You look at it and you go, that's wood grain. But with the Hornets side panel, like it absolutely makes sense, but you don't look at it and immediately go, that's, it's not like a honeycomb pattern or something. So I think it's beautifully, beautifully executed jersey, and it got me really excited to see the other ones essentially. So let's move on to the second one. And the second one, no, I said I wouldn't pick any favorites, but the second one is the Dallas Mavericks jersey. So this uniform honors 150 years of American R&B history by partnering with Grammy Award winner and North Texas native Leon Bridges. And then they get a little bit cheesy, right? Where they go, the uniform features a dark, moody palette. This is to channel the dark, edgy, honest urban music filled with tough times and despair that was explored in the 19th century. However, this music transformed the listener's hearts with warmth, hope, and inspiration, the genre we know today as the blues. I don't think any of that sort of embellishment was really necessary to justify the jersey. It also has Leon Bridges' like handwritten lyrics on one side panel and then guitar strings on the other panel. And again, they go in and say, guitar strings that tie the community together. I think just partnering with Leon Bridges, like doing an R&B inspired jersey was enough. They didn't need to justify anything else. My only criticism of this jersey is I don't know how I feel about the gray sort of coloring inside of the Mavs. And their names are actually all in gray in the back as well. I don't know how I feel about that choice, but I also I don't have a better alternative. And then I'm also generally not always a fan of like asymmetry. I think it can be used really well. I don't know that it was necessary in this jersey to have guitar strings on one side and lyrics on the other side. But with all that being said, I love the thought and execution that went into this jersey. I need to keep my hands to myself. Love this. I think when you consider a city jersey, this is exactly what it should be. This is the perfect sort of example of what cities should aspire to do when it comes to a city edition. So let's move on, because I could talk about this one for a long time. The third jersey on my top 5, and I think this is a bit of a controversial one, but it's the New Orleans Pelicans. So what they say is that the 23-24 New Orleans Pelicans City Edition uniform is an ode to the 300 years of magic and mystery surrounding the Big Easy. It pays tribute to the unmatched cultural heritage of New Orleans. And I'm one of those people who just loves this jersey. I know blackout jerseys have been done now for a little bit. We're used to seeing them, and maybe it's time to try something else, but as I'm saying this, like, this is one of my top 5. I love the blackout. I love the shade of orange. I think like mint and lime green are really popular colors in sports garments and uniforms right now. Kind of reminds me of the Dallas. Don't the Stars have an alternate jersey that's like black with neon green or lime green logo? I think they do, but this is really nice to me. I like the really subtle purple as well. I think it was a good idea to do sort of like an empty the NOLA front to have the letters be filled in with black. And then if you look at the back, the name of the player is actually in that lime green color. And I just think it's really striking. I think it's a really nice take on a blackout uniform. And I like that. I like the idea of doing it around like the magic and the mystery of the city. I know a lot of people are calling it a Halloween jersey or likening it to, like are talking about spooky season, especially given what time of year it came out. And they also, I think on the shorts, they have their Pelicans logo, but designed as a skeleton. I think they called it like Pelican skeleton or something like that. Which I understand doesn't necessarily help the idea that it gives Halloween vibes, but to me it reminds me of the Basel in Switzerland, their hockey team. They have a basilisk on some of their jerseys, and it kind of reminds me of that design where it's just like a badass beastie monstrous thing, and that's the vibe you want to give off. You want to be scary to your opponent, you don't want to be fluffy. So I'm just a really big fan of this one. I'm definitely on the side of this is not a Halloween jersey, and it's a really cool jersey. So number 3 in alphabetical order, New Orleans Pelicans. Let's move on to number 4, and that is the Phoenix Suns. So the 2023-2024 Phoenix Suns City Edition pays tribute to the Chicano fan base, which is awesome. The uniform highlights the classic lowrider, a Chicano invention originating in the Southwest United States. They began to flourish among the young Chicanos in the 1940s. And this uniform is also a collaboration with a local artist, from what I've read, who I think is a professor of fine arts at Arizona State. And so again, just that collaboration with a local artist, like Dallas did with Leon Bridges, is a really nice touch. I think it's something that should always be, hopefully involved in a city edition jersey. Sometimes it doesn't work. I think the Nets uniform is a little indicative of that. I didn't think it was that bad. It definitely wasn't in my top 5, but I haven't seen very many people say good things about it. But back to the Suns uniform, is like, it's that color combination that we associate generally, I think, with Phoenix sports teams. Well, I'm thinking of the Coyotes, but obviously the Suns. And there's this beautiful like hand-written font El Valle at the front, which kind of is a nice take on the valley. Really thoughtful to do it in Spanish. And then the key thing that sort of sets this apart is the side panel, where you've got that pinstripe, which again is reminiscent of lowriders. It's just like such a cool jersey. This is another one that you can just wear off the court and it looks good. And again, this is another one where the reasoning behind it Just makes so much sense. And again, we don't need any explanations about the individual color choices. I'm sure you can look at the yellow to red gradient and think of the desert, think of the sunset, what have you. But just sticking to tried and true colors, and then really paying homage to the Chicano fan base, I think is huge. And yeah, just a really cool idea. Like, again, it makes sense. Leon Bridges, R&B, it fits with basketball. Lowriders, like there's a crossover there. Where, and again, not to pick on the Charlotte Hornets, they are in my top 5. But it's funny to me to read, this is in celebration of the U.S. Mint, and not necessarily something that's a huge part of basketball fans' everyday lives. But El Valle, the Phoenix Suns City Edition jersey comes in to my top 5. And finally, the 5th jersey to round out my 5 favorite City Edition jerseys for this NBA season is the Utah Jazz. This, I think, generally is a fan favorite, with good reason. And this is one that, again, they're not really going in and trying to give reason to the shades of purple that they use. They're just like slapping a City Edition jersey in our face and going like, you know what? This is our jersey. You're gonna like it because it looks good. They say the stepped gradients make their return with a focus on cascading shades of purple, representing the mountain ranges of the Wasatch Front. Stepped gradients have been a staple for Utah's City Edition jerseys from 2017 to 22. It was black to red, orange, and yellow to represent the red rocks of southern Utah. So they're kind of given a flowery reason for a previous jersey, but not for this one. But they do say the design draws inspiration from the 96 to 2002 Purple Mountain uniform, including the mountain range across the chest. Yeah, this is just a jersey that looks good. It represents the city. You've got the mountain range. Really nice touch in the back. I like that the names of the players are under their numbers. I think that's just something different. And then they slap the Utah name where normally you'd have the Jazz on the older jerseys. And yeah, I love that this is like unapologetic. It's just a nice jersey. It represents Utah, which is not a city, but and that they're just going back into their history and finding something that works with today's trends, and that people are gonna like and buy and want to see their team play in. You think of, I think it's the Sacramento Kings that have a jersey that references, is it 100-year history, maybe a little bit more than that. But they're referencing a team that wasn't even in Sacramento. And I find that weird for a City Edition jersey. Like, it's a nice jersey, don't get me wrong, and I think it's a favorite of a lot of people's, but it's just not, I think, the right fit for a City Edition. And so, what I'm saying is, Utah could go and say, oh, this, we're throwing it back to was it the New Orleans Jazz or the Louisiana? I think it was New Orleans. But it doesn't make sense for a City Edition jersey to call back to when the team was in a different city. It's all about context for me. But we're not talking about ones that aren't in my top 5. We're talking about my top 5. But that's it. Those are my 5 favorite City Edition NBA jerseys from this year that are making me want to spend all of my money on jerseys that I'm just gonna hang. Speaking of, this, as I said, kind of a temporary setup. I think I've got some ideas. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to get started on these videos again, so bear with me in the coming weeks. The look of the videos is probably going to change a bit. If the sound is weird, I'm going to work to improve it, but I'm just getting back into things. So I really, really appreciate you watching. I feel like I sped through this video because I was just excited to get going and to make this video. Yeah, thanks for watching. Tell me what you thought. I forgot how to do intros, so I'm gonna say